Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do a first take. On Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks. Going back and forth like Carter Ray, Skip Bayless, and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas, where we broadcasting all over the world on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. Ain't that a good thing for you? But Jimmy, we got a lot of stuff going on today. I'm going to switch you in because I'm going to put another feed in a minute. I'm going to let you go in, then I'll come back. But go ahead on, Jimmy. What's going on today, man? Hold up. Let me hit your button. Watch me click me out, Jimmy. Hold on. I'm getting good. Hold on. Here I go. Watch this, Jimmy. You're on there by yourself. Go on, baby.
Wait. Want to remind you guys, of course, we're going to roll through a lot of topics today on this Tuesday, the last day of March. Guys, do you realize what was supposed to be taking place right now? Houston was supposed, and looking at the weather, Houston was going to be lit during this 5-day span from March, 27, 28, something like that, up until April the 1st. We would have had the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the McDonald's All-American Slam Dunk Contest, 3-point shootout. That would have taken place last night at Del Mar Fieldhouse. That would have think about it, HISD would have had a facility that would have been introduced to the world with the slam dunk contest, 3-point shootout. Everybody would have saw that and like, whoa. And you understand what that does? It makes people have a different perception when they see some of the facilities that you have to play in, and that is, but also tonight, well, of course, speaking of the McDonald's game, it would have taken place on Wednesday, which would be tomorrow, April the 1st. All of this was going on. And due to unexpected circumstances, it's been removed, been canceled. Now, one thing that will take place as scheduled with a slight bit of tinkering tonight, They have a live. I've never been on one before. Zoom. It's going to be a Zoom conference or a Zoom broadcast. The annual Guy V. Lewis Award.
That's tonight.
Will be selected tonight. I mean, hell, you got to, I mean, it ain't much to do, but I like the timing of it. I think it's at 7 o'clock. So that'd be over with in about, what, 35, 45 minutes, tops. And then guess what? At 8 o'clock, everybody's going to run to the living room and turn their TVs to HBO for the Christian Dawkins documentary or special.
I don't think I will be, but I'm glad y'all.
Oh, that's going to be that's going. If you
tell me about it, then
it would be hard not to watch that tonight.
Man, I didn't watch 60 Minutes. I watched 60 Minutes last night though. But keep going.
Well, so now you got a reason to start taping it every Sunday though. Now on 60 Minutes, start taping it every Sunday. Yeah, but you never know. I mean, one thing about it is hit and miss with a lot of different topics, you know. But I like 60 Minutes, you know. But tonight, 7 o'clock, as a Zoom broadcast. I need to find out. I don't know if it's for everybody, for the general public or not. I don't know. But understand, the Guy V. Lewis Award is annually designated for the player of the year in Houston, not Greater Houston. So that way people can understand. It's selected for the Houston people in the Houston city limits. I forgot the boundaries, and I don't have them in front of me. But the past winners, of course, for this prestigious award, the first one was back in 2012. Rasheed Suleiman won that one. In 2013, Aaron Harrison, followed by Justice Winslow in 2014. Galen Robinson won in 2015. De'Aaron Fox in 2016. Who can't forget the spectacular season for Cy Falls High School, and Nigel Hawkins and those guys won the state championship. He got the award in 2017. Quentin Grimes was awarded in 2018, and Kyrie McDaniel was last year's recipient. Of all of those, I think Kyrie McDaniel, when that was a magical season for Klein Forest last year, led them to state. It was one of those things where you root for the underdog. This was a guy who had no Division I offers, and he was playing and played his way into an offer. One of his teammates got an offer from SFA. While they coming to see the teammate, they had to see him by default. And it's like, hey, a spot came open, they offered him. And however, Kyrie McDaniel is the only recipient of the Guy V. Lewis Award to have not been in regular rotation as a freshman in college. It happens like this sometimes. Committed, playing with house money, but you can't take that away from it. This is not one of the things, and I learned another thing about the award is this award, remember, is year to year. It's not based on your career. It's based on the season and the body of work there. So that was one of the things. So that's tonight, 7 p.m. On a Zoom broadcast. I maybe during the show I'll probably check and find out from Chris Gardner, one of the other guys on the committee.
Are you going to be there? Are you going to be on it?
Yeah, I'm on the selection committee.
No, but are you going to be on the Zoom situation?
I've never been on so I don't know how they work, but I've downloaded the app.
Yeah, you'll be all right. It's easy peasy.
So I'm thinking is that only one person is being seen. That's the host.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Right? Because otherwise they would have told us to wear a certain thing.
Got you.
I'm thinking that.
Do me a favor though. Could you get the link before we get off the air for our people? Could you get the link or figure it out? I mean, just text whatever you need to do. And so, I mean, we got some people who want to know. Coach, guess what? We had some kids on that list that were deprived of a magical season. You know, we had some kids on that list that were deprived of doing the same, repeating the same thing that the young man from Klein Forest did. Man, I know his name. Boy, Daddy, don't kill me, Slim. What's his name? Right quick, Jimmy.
Which one now?
From Klein Forest, Slim's son.
Oh, Kyrie McDaniel.
Kyrie, I'm sorry, man. Kyrie McDaniel. I got a million things running through my mind right now. But what's up, Martin Vaughn, on the show? But Jimmy, we had some, kids are 2 games, so not really deprived, but y'all, their whole body of work. It's some kids could have been legendary if they could have went and won that championship down there. So it's no bad blood about it, but it's gonna be a little let's put an asterisk about this season. We'll put a little asterisk about it. But guess what, Jimmy? We had some historical performances this year. By L.J. Cryer. The leading scorer in Houston history. One of the top scorers ever in Texas history. Then you had the run by Tremont Marks. I mean, it's 10 of the guys. Then you had the sophomore sensation, Bryce Griggs. I mean, Marcus Williams. I mean, we just had some. Jimmy, we had some dynamic. Was Marcus on it? Is Marcus in it? Is Marcus in?
Well, we only picked
one. Okay.
Remember, we told you we only picked one from each school.
My bad. That's why I said that. Yeah. That's why I said that. Hey, Karen Thomas. But Jimmy, we had some magical years from some special young men. Could you call those 10 young men name out for me right quick?
Yeah. In alphabetical order, according by the first name, Bryce Griggs, sophomore at Hightower High School. JVL Francis. He's a junior at Westbury Christian. Jahari Long, he's a senior at Episcopal. He signed with Seton Hall. Jordan Ivy Curry, he's a senior at Lamarck High School. He's committed to UTSA. Justin Hill, he's a senior at Travis High School. He currently holds 2 Division I offers as of today. L.J. Cryer, the senior at Martin Ranch High School, who signed with Baylor. He's, as Hatter just mentioned, he's the all-time leading scorer in Houston basketball history with 3,488 points in his career. That's enough to mark him as 5th all-time. P.J. Haggerty, he's a sophomore over at Crosby High School. A lot of the community was introduced to him during the playoffs this season, where Crosby made a magical run, but they ran into a buzzsaw, which was Hightower. And guess what? That's like getting shot by Jesse James. That's a good bullet. Ramon Walker from Shadow Creek High School.
I like him.
He's a junior. And one thing about Ramon, if you were at the regional tournament for Class 5A, surely they lost to Hightower in the championship of that, which Hightower advanced the state. But Shadow Creek, Ramon Walker, and of course his teammate Will Young, they gave a sneak peek of proof that Shadow Creek will be one of the teams to beat next season as they move up to the Class 6A ranks. Reuben Jones is the 9th player on the list. He's from Yates High School. He's a senior who signed with North Texas.
Is that Ashley Jones' son?
No, that's Ashley's son.
I'm messing with you.
That's a baby boy. And last but not least, of course, remember we're going in alphabetical order by the first name, Tremont Mark from Dickinson High School. And Tremont is a senior who signed with University of Houston. He had a remarkable season, 29 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, and led that team to an outstanding run. These guys hadn't lost a game since December the 14th. Mind you, Dickinson hadn't lost a game. And the thing that was impressive about, of course, the Tremont is the fact that I told you guys the story about when I went to watch them play during the closing of the regular season. They were at Clear Lake High School. Tremont Mark did not play, did not suit up that game. And I sit behind that bench, and when I watched him basically serve as an assistant coach, and watching him from that angle, let it know how valuable he was. And so those are the 10 finalists, and the winner will be selected tonight on a Zoom broadcast. And I'm reaching out. Okay, here's what I got from of course one of the guys on the committee, and that is this announcement is indeed open to the general public, but is limited to only 300 people. So you got that.
Say it again, Jim.
It is, because my question I just sent to the committee was, to my fellow committee members, was, is the Zoom announcement for the general public to watch tonight as well? He says yes, but the capacity is 300. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to Chris Gardner and see if he wants to come and spend about 5 minutes to just explain, and provide the link or whatever, and explain to you guys how you can get on and watch this broadcast tonight. He's a member of the United States Basketball Writers Association. He's a member of he's a voting member of the Naismith Award and all of that. So and he lives in Houston, and he's the brother. I remember when I first got into this business, Chris Gardner was one of the inspiring forces that along, of course, as he worked and served as a promoter, a producer at the Ralph Cooper sports rap show back on KCOH, 20 years ago. So I've been knowing Chris for a little bit longer than that, but it is amazing how in this business, people, and Chris covers mostly the girls side. So if we have a lot of you guys on the boys side, that name may not sound familiar, is because he's pretty much has the girls side on lock with a lot of the college coaches, but he stays out the way.
Jimmy, I just want to break in just a little bit. Jeremy Davis, you just was a little late. Jimmy explained the parameters and the criteria for this Guy V. Lewis Award, and it's just for the Houston kids, not the greater Houston kids, because Jeremy said something about how come Braylon Bush is not on that list. I was just explaining, because if you got to the party just a little late, Jeremy, it's just for the Houston area. Okay? Now, back to you, Jimmy. Back to our regular scheduled message.
Yeah, so it's one of the things, so I'm looking forward to that, and that's going to be a good thing, and that's, as far as especially if you live in Houston.
And Jimmy, I got one more thing. Jimmy, we got basketball royalty is in the chop shop right now. Vince Baldwin, that took out his busy day to come and hang out with us, man. That's who we should have had called in one day. We got to get on VB. We got to get VB in here.
That ain't no problem. You guys got to get him to sit still sometimes. So now he's trying to sit still.
Yeah.
And because of a lot of the staff with Nike grassroots basketball have been grounded. So this may be a good time to get VB on and chop it up and give us some, he's limited to, probably restricted to a lot of things he can talk about, but we can take him past to the past and maybe get VB to give us some of his top, maybe his starting 5 of Nike grassroots teams.
Okay. Right? All right.
And it's his starting 5 players.
Okay. He ain't gonna do all of them gonna be from Detroit. That ain't fair, Jimmy. He gonna name everybody from Detroit.
From the family, huh?
Yeah, he gonna name everybody from the family.
and I would definitely love for BB to explain to people the phenomenon behind the young fellow out of Michigan. What's my young fellow name?
Imani Bates. Yes.
And so we're getting that, of course. But shout out to you guys. that are joining in. I see the old Mr. Pro-Am himself, Tony Washington, is
Tony
joined
on
us.
there.
Yeah, Joffrey Day is up in there, and I mean, so many other guys. Clarence Harris, I see Kenan Abrams. Shout out to you guys as well. We got to go now. Remember, now we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube
right
as well.
Yeah.
And so, anyway,
but Jimmy, Jimmy, I didn't get a chance to do my monologue, and I always try to at least talk about stuff that's going on and give people an overview of what's going to go on the show. And I missed it because I had a little technical difficulties. My cameras was going crazy over here. Y'all, if y'all saw me flicking back and forth, my cameras were going everywhere. But Jimmy, I want to just make sure everybody know that because words are important. We're not stuck at home. We're safe at home. One word can change your whole attitude. And I just want all the people to, you're not stuck at home. You're safe at home. And one thing I'd like to say, VB, I'm glad you're here, Wanda. I know Wanda, you probably shut in. Wanda is the owner of the nail gallery, that nail shop that I go to when I'm in Memphis. And but we are connected through sports. All of us, some kind of way. We're a team. And we know the opponent. We know who the opponent is out here now. Let's not get it twisted. This coronavirus is our opponent. And we know how to win. Think about that. We know who the opponent is. Jimmy, what's your favorite word? We got the scout. Who did the scout on this? We got the scout on this, Jimmy. And as we think about it, all we need to do, it's going to need all us to do this together. Everybody has a part on this team, okay? Everybody does their small part and accept their small roles by staying out the way, not being able to transmit this thing, and do this as good as you possibly can. If you're a scorer, score. If you can, and I understand the people that got to go and the people, but everybody just play your role. We would come out victorious in this situation, everybody, and we would kick the doors off of this thing. But guess what, y'all? It's gonna take all of us. And I just want to let you know, it's gonna take all of us to do this thing, Jimmy. And Jimmy, I'd like to share this with you because I know we're gonna talk about it later. The NCAA Division I Council granted a 1 year. VB, I'm glad you're on the feed. A 1 extra year to the athletes in spring sports whose season was canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic decision. Also, they will extend the eligibility of all the sports athletes, not just the seniors. Got me, Jimmy? Not just the seniors. They will allow the schools to expand their rosters and financial aid rules. I'm just
that's tricky. That's the tricky part.
Okay. I know we'll talk about. I'm just skimming over unless you want to get into it.
Keep going though.
Okay. To count for incoming recruits and seniors who are expected to leave. But Jimmy, the council also they declined to extend the eligibility of the winter sport athletes since much of their regular season had already been, concluded. So I just, I wanted to share that out. I know you're going to talk about it later when we get into collegiate sports, but just some things, Jimmy. But I thought about when all this over, Vince Baldwin and Slim. I'm glad you weren't on the show, man. I had a brain fart, and I didn't remember Kyrie's name. So my bad, but I got him now. But Jimmy, what we going to do when we come back, right? All this over. What's up, Reggie Stillman? Jimmy, all this handshaking and high-fiving in the games, I don't think what you think, Jimmy, hold up. I promise you. When I go to a special event, everybody be laughing at me because I have that little bottle. I don't have a big bottle like that. I got a little small one. But Jimmy, why can't we do like we used to do? What up, man? What up, man?
I think it's so many of these guys. This is a different whole society. People like touching on guys. You know what? And that may be the start of a lot of this stuff that you see going on. Think about it. Guys, it feel like some people feel like they got to touch on you. You don't touch me. I don't need to.
Hey, yeah. And it's good. And Jimmy, you know what? And sometimes people would take that as, oh, he stuck up. He stand up. No, man, Barack Obama, I never forget when I first got a chance to meet him before he was the president, and I saw what he was doing. The dude, Reggie, who used to be his sidekick, that guy, he always had Jimmy, that sanitizer. Behind the scene, you can't see it on the news, but that man sanitized, man. So I got that from him a long time ago. And, man, hey, it's good, Jimmy. I thought about that. And what y'all think? Well, what y'all think? How you gonna high five? Jimmy, guess what a high five? I found out what was the high five originated in sports. I used to thought it was Magic Johnson, giving a high five. But they said it started with Dusty Baker. Long time ago in the playoffs with one of his teammates.
With Dusty Baker.
Yeah, a long time ago. So people, I didn't research it. That's just somebody just told me that, and I haven't researched it. So if it's a lie, they told it. But they said it wasn't Magic. It wasn't Magic Johnson.
Man, hey, that's a whole nother topic.
But Jim, you see that?
I'm down with Dusty Baker. As I said to you guys before, any baseball manager, hell, I don't care what sport he is, any manager who can get out there on a daily basis and get the toothpick and stick it in the corner of his mouth.
Hey, good, Jimmy, that's not good.
Let it just hang like he's at the cafe. I'm going to tell you something. Dusty Baker, my dude. You know what? I was really, because, I had to think back. I actually went to a Los Angeles Dodgers baseball game when I was young, about 9-10 years old. I was a fan of the Dodgers, but I loved the Astros. Actually, the Dodgers were playing the Astros in LA, and I went to the Dodgers game, and it was just something about the Dodgers. I didn't really like them because the Houston Astros would make you not really like the Dodgers, but it was something about some of those guys back in the old days when they had, Fernando Valenzuela and Dusty Baker and David, I think it was David Lopes and all those guys back in the days. But anyway, let's get back to some hoops, man.
Let's get back.
We, as promised yesterday, we will tell you guys about, of course, what's going on across the pond. Stephon Marbury.
Okay.
And remember, Steph Marbury he lives in China. And believe it or not, guys, Steph Marbury is like LeBron in China, to the league. He has a statue.
Yes. Still
living. And they built a statue of Marbury out there in front of the city that he played in front of their stadium. Well, he went and tried to help because he's from New York City. And based on New York being the epicenter of this COVID-19, Steph went to go and get one of his connects over in China and to go and deliver about 10 million masks, right? The N95s. Right, those are the top shelf.
Yeah, them the good man.
For about $2.75 a piece. Now, these things normally go for about $8 a piece. You follow me? So initially, when people thought that Steph Marbury was gonna get 10 million masks coming to some people must under the impression that Marbury was taking care of his tab. No, the mask was on. There was a shortage.
Got them at a discounted rate. Yes.
Oh, he's giving them to you on wholesale from some of his people. So then it came a snag came in the road because now the president of the borough of Brooklyn, his name is Eric Adams. He goes and I need to talk to Steph. I need to talk to Mr. Marbury first before we get all this done. Which that's political, man, because somebody has to approve this and sign off on it. But in a crisis of such, this should have been expedited. This shouldn't even made its way to the news to be on the ticker. It shouldn't even have went that far.
Didn't you just say he was a politician? He
Yeah.
want to be on the news. He want to be on the news, Jimbo. Yes. Think about it. You wouldn't have never. You just call that man name, and all of us around his country gonna try to Google and see who that man is now. He done what he needed to do. He famous now. But that's a unique thing, Jimmy. I thought about it because at first, when I first saw the actual headline of Stephon Marbury is giving the mask, I said that's a great. I'm thinking he's donating masks because I saw a few hours later Joe Young is donating 50,000 masks. You follow me? So I just thinking. But then I looked and read the article. Didn't just look at the clickbait. It said, I'm trying to get my hat straight. It said, it was talking about how a difference in prices of them, Jimmy. And I said, wow, okay. So, of course, a purchase order has to be admitted. I mean, you got to go through that kind of stuff. If it was a gift, he was giving a gift, maybe it would have been okay. But so if somebody got to buy them, of course, you got to go through protocol. So I know what you're saying. Man, forget protocol. Send them masks and we can worry about the bill later. But then sometimes, guess what?
That's how that stuff goes.
But sometimes people don't pay that bill later, Jimmy.
Well, I mean, come on.
No,
we have a shout out to Darshell. Hey, Darshell. Hey, tell us, Darshell, give us an update on Stevie Clark and let us know how he's doing. Did they get I guess stuck in his country? What the hell you got on? What the hell?
Yeah, you don't know about that, do you?
That's the hat you had on in that movie, ain't it?
I didn't wear it.
That's the hat on in that movie.
I didn't wear. Hey, I tell y'all what. If y'all can find another hat like this in America, you let me know. Boy, this is a collector's item. I had to go get this because I posted a picture yesterday, Jimmy. And I forgot in my archive of Vince Baldwin and Will Johnson. I have some, I didn't ever think about it because when I was younger and was in those situations, as I got older, I don't like to take pictures with people no more. But like I was a young cat back then, we were on the set of Blue Chips with Penny and Shaq. And what was so crazy, Jimmy, Nick Nolte, I mean, everybody was like family on that set. I'm going to post some pictures with me and Alfred Woodard. Dick Vitale was in that movie. He was announcing in the movie. Dick Vitale and just Shaq on the campus. If y'all ever go and look and see the kids walking across the campus, that wasn't the UCLA campus. That was USC. We were on USC's campus. And that's where we were filming the stuff. So it was just crazy stuff, man. Jimmy, you know what? You're a young guy and your first time in, your first client. And y'all remind me when we have time that I'm gonna tell you the story how he got in that movie and the reason behind him we putting him in a movie during a time. It was a very important time in his life because Jimmy, that was he filmed that movie the summer he was preparing to go to the NBA, and it took a lot of time out. So I'm gonna tell you the things we negotiated in that. It was a great story. Great story. I'm gonna tell one day. But yeah, Jimmy, if you find somebody with a hat like this, you let me know. I want to buy it. I want to buy it. I want to have all the hats. And then I'm gonna get you. Hey, when I get enough, I'll give you one since you the hat man. So yeah.
Indeed. and of course, speaking of China, as you touched on earlier, they have once again delayed the resuming of their CBA. That's the Chinese Basketball Association. And as you know, guys, there's about a dozen former NBA guys who participate in that league, including Houston's own Joseph Young. And Joseph Young, a lot of these guys had to report, and once they reported, they still have to quarantine or be sequestered for 14 days. Well, they've announced now they're expecting it maybe at the end of April or for sure in May. And that's the latest. No date has been set. There's no timetable for when they plan to lift the new restrictions. And this was done, administered by the the General Administration of Sport. That's the body that governs that the league and whatnot, and all the leagues over on that continent. So once again, the Chinese basketball, and they had a pretty decent plan. Basically, they have 20 teams, right? And they were going to take 10 teams and put them in one city, right? And they were going to play, right? 10 teams be playing in one, kind of like mimicking what the NBA is tinkering with. That's probably how the idea. I just meant to flip myself and say the NBA probably got this idea because the CBA came up with this first. And 10 teams will be in one city, 10 teams will be in another city, and they all will play at the same location while being sequestered into a sanitized hotel, a lodging. That's kind of like what they were supposed to do. However, the plan is the asymptomatic people. That's the unmeasurable. No symptoms, but you got it. That was the reason that I didn't know the name of it 2 weeks ago when my personal theory was that was, they're basically confessing now that there's thousands that potentially will be fall up under that category. And I was saying, well, hell, if they test most people based on what, then I'm sure that the numbers would spike. But you don't want to test them all so too fast because we're struggling with hospital beds. That's the whole concept of this thing right now.
Yeah.
It's not the other stuff. Trust me, most people not going to die as a result of COVID-19. Most. We understand that. However, to be treated, it will hinder the whole process. The nurses, think about it. Every time they go home, they got to come back. That's a whole process. The beds are scarce. Just in every other day, just this morning, late last night, I wanted, matter of fact, we can go, and you guys in the basketball community, we can go and give yourselves a moment of silence for one of the coaches in the basketball fraternity, college coaching fraternity. His mother passed away as a result of COVID-19. And that is a good friend of the family, Butch Pierre.
Oh, Butch.
Former LSU assistant coach, who's now head coach at one of the junior colleges over in Florida. But Butch Pierre also was assistant coach at North Carolina State and a couple other stops along the way. But Butch Pierre was, trust me, when I started in this business, he's widely known as one of the most, I would say, famous or infamous, for depending on what side of the fence you're on, as far as recruiters in the land. If that was an all recruiting team of the past 2 decades, for assistant coaches, Butch Pierre would definitely be first chair among those guys. Okay. Think about all the talent he got to LSU. John Brady, he's had. Think about it. Put it like this: John Brady was a head coach then. He had one job since then, one coaching gig. That was Arkansas State, if I'm not mistaken. He's the radio announcer now. He's in the media for the LSU program. Now, Butch Pierre stocked the pond with big mouth bass back in those days. Speaking of big, including guys like Brandon Bass, Big Baby Glenn Davis, Garrett Temple, who are some of the guys? Taz.
I don't know them guys, man. I didn't never keep up with them guys.
All those guys in McDonald's All-American.
I know, but I just didn't keep up with a lot of them. I didn't like LSU basketball that much.
Stromile, Swift, all those guys. But and that was just a great thing. But anyway, back.
I got something else. Because I'm glad you told that story. So I'm gonna go back because several people, because I know I'm gonna forget, and they want to hear this story since I talked about it. Hey, Ashley Jones, I talked about you earlier. You went on the phone. Well, we're gonna get back to this blue chips thing. I put the hat back for it. What happened, Jimmy? When Penny got out of college, we found out we wanted Penny to be a top pick. Okay, we wanted him to be a top pick. So the people who had the top picks at that time, I think it was Golden State. Golden State. Golden State had the first pick. Orlando had the third pick, and the second pick was the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, and during that time, we were just trying to get him. We wanted Penny to play with Shaq. Okay, but I found out from Shaq's friends and his people, Shaq wanted Chris Webber because he wanted a power forward to help him because he was getting beat up down there. He wanted a power forward to help him. So I found out Shaq was going to be in this movie, Blue Chips, right? We found out. So we trying to figure out how could we get Penny in the movie. So I just happened to know Kevin Benton, a friend of mine out there in LA, he knew Nick Nolte. So what happened, we called Kevin and said, Kevin, do me a favor. Could you just get me a reading with Nick Nolte off the record? Because they was considering, because Chris Webber was more popular. They was considering him. They was considering a couple of more guys from UCLA. I forgot their name. Mitch Butler, because he went to UCLA. They would consider him, to play the part of Butch McRae. They was looking for a character. Everybody, the casting director, everybody, they look for certain parts. And I'll never forget, he went to, so Penny went, he read with Nick Nolte, and Nick said, that's freaking Butch McRae. But he didn't say freaking. He said, you. So he went back to, he cursed. He went back to William Friedkin. If you go back and look, Bill Friedkin, William Friedkin, he was the director. He went back and said, man, forget all these other guys. We got to bring Penny. So we brought Penny back formally. Remember, it was on our dime the first time. The next time, Blue Chips flew him out. They fell in love with him. But then, Jimmy, it came time. And the only reason I want him in the movie, we didn't want to be no movie star. I wanted him to get close to Shaq. So what? So he could play at Orlando, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's what I was thinking. Big man, big point guard, big man. That's what we were thinking. So I'm trying to speed it up because we're going to have a caller. So we, what else happened? After that, I in the contract, Jimmy, I had to go everywhere he went. Whatever city, they gave us a car, cell phone, the five-star hotel everywhere we went. We stayed in L.A. Doing most of the part. Went to Chicago because I don't know if y'all know, Butch McRae in the movie was from Chicago. Alfred Woodard played his mom. I'm going to release a picture with me and her later on tonight. So Jimmy, it was crazy. So in the contract, Jimmy, we put in there that everywhere that we went, they'd have to bring in pro-type players or college-type players so Penny won't slack off of his basketball duties. He was a basketball player, not a movie star. So they constructed a basketball goal and a set. He just gonna have to hold on a minute, Jimmy. Up there, a basketball, a goal and a set, and brought in top players to play because we didn't want to lose our basketball edge. So guess him and Shaq, we got some games. Penny was killing everybody on the set. Shaq called Orlando and said, man, we got to rethink this thing. And it's a whole lot of stuff happened after that, but the rest is history. That relationship by Penny being that movie is what got the Orlando Magic the draft Penny instead of Chris Webber because they wanted Chris Webber at first. But now, Jimmy, we got a guest on the phone. Who introduced the guest? Now you on mute. Yeah, you put yourself.
You guys hear me now, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Now, of course, without further ado, we have live with us on the Chop Shop. We have D. Chris Gardner, and we're talking about a guy that's, he's a voter of the Naismith Award. He's as I mentioned earlier, he's a member of the United States Basketball Writers Association and the Wooden Award. He covers a lot of most primarily. He's on the female basketball side of the fence.
Okay.
So that's a lot of you guys who are entrenched in the boys basketball side. You may not be familiar with his name, but he's there. And if you go to a University of Houston game, he's not missing any of those. And that is Chris Gardner. What's going on, KG?
How you doing, sir? That's a great intro, man. I need to pay you sometime.
What's up, Chris? What's happening? This is Robert Haddon, man. What's happening?
Yeah, and of course.
How you doing? Adam?
I'm doing great, man. Hold up. I just got a question. Because Jimmy just said something. You're big on the girls' side. How did you swing it to be voting for the boys? You must be a bad man.
You said that. I didn't. I mean, in terms of probably percentage-wise, I may do 60, 40 girls, fellas, kind of like that.
Okay.
It flip-flops. I mean, of course, I do Rockets, too, so that takes a lot of my time as well. But yeah, basketball is basketball to me. So. Okay.
My man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been around. I thought about you yesterday, Chris, and because yesterday marked the 1 year to the date that King Arthur Prater was laid to rest. Remember?
Yeah.
And King Arthur was a long time, worked with the Forward Times newspaper, did a lot in the community with the Studewood Cobras football program, him and his relationships with the Fiesta grocery stores. King Arthur, that was 1 year ago. I say, man, seemed like yesterday. But anyway, tonight, the Guy V. Lewis Award will take place, and initially it's supposed to, as it does annually, it would under normal circumstances it would be at the O'Quinn Center in the room in the Alumni Center on the campus of the University of Houston, but that will not take place as scheduled. How will it go tonight?
We're going to do and we, as in the Greater Houston Basketball Committee, and Jimmy is part of that with me. We're going to do a virtual online announcement, a Zoom meeting. So we've contacted all 10 finalists of the award, and the winner is for the top boys high school player in the Greater Houston area. And full disclosure, I mean, Hicks and I go back a long way. I lean on him and his rankings, what I use, from his website at, cheat sheet go back way back then, but RCS Sports, his rankings for top 50, top 25, top 10. We got the finalists. They and their parents and coaches will be participating, joining us in the Zoom meeting. We're going to announce the winner, hopefully around 7:10, 7:15. And then after that, the winner will take a few minutes to talk to the media, TV stations, the sports guys. We know the guys who cover high school sports here in H-Town. I'll give them some time to talk to the winner.
And, of course, that will be at 7 p.m. tonight, as you mentioned. Now, can anybody watch it?
Yes. The link, you can watch it. I mean, the capacity, there's a limit to the room size for the meeting is 300. Mm-hmm. So get there first come, first serve. Obviously, me and the members of the committee and the finalists and their parents, coaches, that's going to take up, 50 to 100. So we should have room for another 200 folks to join us. And the plan is to share the link on the Guy V. Lewis Facebook page too.
Okay.
So we're going to do that also. And if not, I may tweet out the link on Twitter or we're going to figure out a way to do like a watch book live, watch video kind of thing too on Facebook too. So we try to reach more folks as possible.
Oh, so that would be a smarter move. That means for some people that get in, they can start a Facebook, like a live watch party and bring in some of their people so that they'll be able to watch. That would be a smart idea. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
That's it. That's the plan. So it sounds good in theory. So hopefully we're able to pull it off.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to speak it into existence then.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, of course, this will be a virtual ceremony tonight. Mm-hmm. Once again, just turn to the Chop Shop, but the Guy V. Lewis Award that's annually granted to the top high school player in Houston, not Greater Houston. And I don't have parameters, but Chris, do you know the parameters for which the geographical boundaries which encompasses this award?
It's, initially, and this is the 9th year of the award, the counties that touch Harris County. So that's, adjacent to Harris County. So that's what we got, those counties that touch Harris County. That includes Fort Bend as well,
Okay.
Yeah, because we had a guy earlier asked why I wasn't a player from Silsbee, and sometimes I defer to let the music sounds better, often coming from a different set of speakers. So that's why I toss it to you. Now, here's another good question. Somebody just texted me and asked me, why hasn't there been a Guy Fee Lewis Award for the female?
That is something I have no problem doing that. I would like somebody to, spearhead it, and I would be more than willing to help promote it, because my main function on the fella side is to do the media and press releases for it. So I got no problem doing that.
And Chris, I got something for you. If it's a girl award for the girls, maybe it should be a mythical, not mythical, but a great figure in women's basketball. Since the Guy V. Lewis is for the men, yeah. Shouldn't it be a magic figure, a fantastic figure from the women's sector? And
that makes sense to me. I have no problem with that. I mean, the reason the award first started, and this was before Coach Lewis made it into the Basketball Hall of Fame, was twofold. One, to generate more interest, to try to get a push to get him into the Hall of Fame, but also to recognize his impact on integrating basketball in the South and basketball, how much he loved high school basketball. And of course, many of his great teams at U of H, local Houston high school players. So we try to tie it all together. That's the reason why we started the award, and it's grown since 2012. And I am not, knowledgeable enough to know what female has had a huge impact in girls high school basketball, but I have no problem working with somebody who wants to put that award together.
Guess what? Jonathan Griffin on our Facebook feed, he gave a good name, the Kim Perrott Award, or the Cheryl Swoops Award.
Well, they didn't have remember, Guy V. Lewis is U of H. So I guess University.
No, but we're just talking about women's basketball right now.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't have to be. Just the reason for the award was because of Coach Lewis, and to continue generating interest to get him into the Hall of Fame and his connections to Houston basketball.
I got you.
So there's a woman who has a Houston connection to women's basketball on a high school level, college, pro, hey, I'm going to work with that person.
That's a good one.
Other people want to do.
That's
Contact
good.
me.
That's a good name. Just tune in. We got Chris Gardner live with us. And now, Chris, real quick, we got a minute left. What are your thoughts on the NCAA's ruling yesterday about granting an extra year to spring sports that will include, of course, in women, it will include softball, track, and among others, but those on the female side. What are your thoughts on that?
It makes sense to me. We got baseball and softball as part of the spring sports. Some folks thought that basketball was part of it. Basketball is a winter sport, part of the NCAA. I am not surprised that the NCAA did it this way. Personally, the winter sports season was almost over for basketball, so I just didn't see. I know it stinks, but it makes more sense to give the spring sports athletes the opportunity rather than the winter sports athletes.
And lastly, I noticed University of Houston is doing. They came up with the 64 greatest athletes, regardless of sport, and basically did a voting on a tournament to narrow down the greatest athlete ever of University of Houston. The last I checked on yesterday was down to the quarterfinals, where Carl Lewis was going against Otis Birdsong. And on the other side, on that same side of the bracket, was Andre Ware versus Clyde Drexler. On the opposite side, Hakeem Olajuwon versus Fred Couples. And in the last quarter was Elvin Hayes versus Case Keenum. Give us your winners on that real quick, your prediction, and before we let you go.
I mean, in terms of athletes, I'm going with Carl Lewis. You know, overall, but in terms of impact in basketball, Elvin Hayes. Elvin Hayes and Clyde and Dream, because Dream did not become who he was at U of H. Now we're including his pro career.
That's a good point.
Then it's real, it's closer to E and Akeem.
That's a good point.
But college, I'm going with Big E. Overall.
That's good.
So you got Big E over Carl Lewis. That's your prediction in the championship.
Yes.
And because of Jimmy, because he had good criteria. I love that, Chris. You said the college career. Big Elvin Hayes packed out the Superdome, the Astrodome. He broke that streak from UCLA streak, didn't it, Chris?
Yeah, Lou Alcindor.
Correct.
So yes, Elvin Hayes, yes. Yeah, all Dream did was let Lorenzo Charles dunk that ball in him on the line. I'm sorry if y'all mad at him.
Hold on, man.
Yeah, he did. One shining moment.
That hurt, man. That hurt.
Hey, Chris, one shining moment. Dick Val, what?
That still hurt. That still hurt me.
If Benny Anders' ass would have got his hand on the ball or would have stayed where he supposed to be at, then it wouldn't have been no problem.
If my auntie had a beard, she'd be my uncle, Jimmy.
He's standing up. He's standing up. Anyway, guys. Hey, Gardner, man, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
So much, man, for chopping up with us on the Chop Shop. See you tonight on the Guy V. Lewis Award. Once again, guys, at 7 p.m. tonight. And go to the Guy V. Lewis Award.org, right? Is that the website, Chris?
That's the website, but you can tweet it out. You get more listeners like this. Just tweet out the link on there. Yeah.
How can they follow you on social media?
I'm gonna follow you, Chris.
Well, they follow me just Twitter, THEHR Review. And of course, go to our Facebook page, the Guy V. Lewis Facebook page. That's easy to remember as well, because we try to share a link to the Zoom meeting for everybody on that as well.
There you go, man. Appreciate that, man. That's Chris Gardner, guys, man. Thanks so much,
Chris. Jimmy, we're going to take a quick break.
And of course, we got a quick break. We're coming back.
Here you go, y'all.
Above all sports hoops is where the action's at. Houston Classic, Summer Prep Show, June Jam, HNSS, Summer Finale. Make sure you register today.
Hey, Herb Baker, I am so sorry, but that's what happened. Jim Valvano got famous for that play. Keem Olajuwon just watched the ball like this, Jimmy. Go back and watch it. He watched the ball like this. So, but it's, I think I'm off mute, so I'm talking. So, Jimmy, where we going next? Where we going next? That was great, man. And Jimmy, make sure you be on top of it, because I didn't get his Twitter handle. Make sure you be on top of it and tweet it out. And Jeffrey Day and the rest of the people in the media. Make sure y'all coordinate with everybody and make sure people, because, hey, it's unique. It's a unique thing that's happened. Let's get on here and watch and see what happens. It's going to be short and sweet. It ain't going to be that long. So let's get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, and what we do is, guys, coming up at the top of the hour, we will, well, it is the top of the hour. Good gracious, this time be going by fast.
Dude, we
on the Chop Shop. We'll open up the phone lines for you guys because, you had so much fun and we got and gave you guys a chance to, voice your thoughts. Of course, the number for you guys to call in 832-264-1500. 832-264-1500 is the number directly into the studio. And you guys can call in. Meanwhile, I want to give you guys some college basketball news that 2 hires have been made. Western Illinois have hired Rob Jeter. I've been knowing Rob for a long time, back since his days.
He looked like he used to hang out with you too.
Rob Jeter? Oh, he turned the corner too.
Yeah.
So he's the head coach at Western Illinois. And Billy Clyde Gillespie has been hired. He's back in the Division I ranks after having been at Ranger Junior College for the past 5 seasons. You guys may not realize that Billy Clyde actually went to Ranger Junior College. That was his alma mater. And so now, as a result, Billy Clyde is now at Tarleton State. Tarleton State is in Texas. However, they will be going to Division I this season. They will be part of the WAC conference. And so Billy Clyde is now the new head coach, agreed to a 4-year deal with Tarleton State. And so once again, you know, Billy Clyde got 9 lives, boy. But he earned his way back. I can say that.
He earned his way back? Okay.
Number 1 in the country.
What you mean by earn his way back?
Because he went down, I understand. You're talking about a guy that was at Kentucky. He stayed at Kentucky, I think, only 2 years, 2 seasons. Ended back up on his feet over at Texas Tech.
Okay.
Right? Then, you know, he hit the wall. Chris Walker was his assistant coach at Texas Tech, ironically, back then. Hit the wall, ended up taking a job at Ranger Junior College, which you guys know schools like junior colleges don't have the, think about the budget, put it like that. You go from Kentucky and then what?
But
5
coaching
years,
is coaching, but keep going.
No, I'm just talking about the economic standpoint of it. When you're used to eating this and now you're riding on.
But if you save your money, you can still eat that.
No, but meanwhile, understand something, Hal. I mean, insert something into the equation that you might.
You're just talking about the budget of the school.
The budget of the school plus.
Okay.
Plus, in the midst of all of this, Billy Clyde was one of the people who lost the most money during the David Salinas suicide.
That's right. Okay.
This guy lost about between $3 to $5 million of his own money. So that knocks you down a little bit. Then you got to go and take this job at Ranger, and you stay there. Robert Reed was his first assistant coach. Remember Robert Reed, the former Rocket? And then he briefly had a couple other guys over there with him, but now he's been able to, I guess, now emerge from that, and we'll see how this works for Billy Clyde moving forward. So been knowing him for quite a long time as well.
But Jimmy, I got some. I want Gary Parrish said something interesting, and I hadn't heard you or nobody really talk about that much. He brought up something that, like I said, a lot of people not talking about, and it's about coaching movement within college basketball. This pandemic has brought a halt to coaching changes. I know you just talked about Billy Clyde, but I'm talking about in the Power 5, right? There hasn't been a single coaching change in any of the Power 5 conferences or the Big East or the American Athletic Conference. That's what I see why you call them the Power 7, Jimmy. That's the Power 7, which is unheard of, Jimmy, at the end of the year. No changes, right? And among the reasons is because if you were going to make a move, let's say on a Danny Manning, because he was on the hot seat at Wake Forest, that would have cost Wake Forest $15 million buyout. How can an athletic director justify spending $15 million when you don't know if you're going to have football revenue this fall? Okay, and you can comment when I'm finished. When you don't know if your biggest donors are losing money or not in the stock market or in this clothing? Some of your biggest donors, right, might be losing some of their wealth now, and their normal contributions to your program might not be the same. So these uncertain times, ladies and gentlemen, Kenneth Gamble, has had an impact on the coaching profession as well. Athletic directors who are now, who I know, I know a couple of them that were ready to make a move. Now, Jimmy, they just stand put because they don't think it's smart spending money in that way right now. And not just spending, but, eating those contracts to buy another guy on. So that hadn't really been talked about, Jimmy. There's been no coaching changes. That's almost unheard of this time of year. So I don't know if you had a comment on that because hey, that's the world you work in and live in. So it's a little different, a little bit different.
Well, one of the things that they're expected to be some change. The thing is the canceled NCAA basketball season. Mm-hmm. It actually saved the jobs of some.
Okay.
A lot, it did not save them, but some coaches, they got saved, mm-hmm. and that were on the bubble. Mm-hmm. And now I got word, of course, this morning that speaking of NCAA news, of course, there's going to be rumors and everybody. And the thing is, rumors are going to fly. But as we know, based on the fact that, as I mentioned yesterday, that the April live periods will not take place. I don't know what the NCAA is waiting for to make the official announcement, meaning that it's obviously transparent. If the president says, has since trickled down a request, an order, or a mandate to extend they call it social distancing, then through the end of April. And if you were set to have live events April the 17th through the 19th and the 24th through the 26th, then they can't take place. So what the hell are they waiting on to do to go on and hit the hammer on that? Now, what happens? Here's what you're looking at now. From what I'm hearing, based on the fact that the NBA season, they're narrowing it down. Once the NBA plants their season, then I think the NCAA is kind of waiting to see what the schedule for the NBA, because they don't want to, in other words, they don't want to put a live event right in the middle of the NBA finals. You follow me? And that's in which it's out of respect, because you got to have some type of, they have a working relationship with each other. So that's what you see waiting on. The NBA is going to be first, but the NBA is waiting to see what the CBA, China, was going to do. They're pushing the NBA further back.
Jimmy, they just trying to see the ramifications of what's going on. Like you said, they're trying to see they already know the model. You got to understand, NBA we got to remember, the NBA is in a free country. China is in a communist country. So they can do a lot of stuff. They can manipulate the news that we hear. They can do everything. We over here, every talk show want to have their opinion. Everybody want to have. Jimmy, while I was talking on the phone, I got a text. You was talking about Billy Gillispie, and I got a text. And Rob Doster on his Twitter page, I don't know if you saw it, Jimmy. You said he done came a long way back, but you're sympathetic toward him. This guy wasn't too sympathetic for Billy Gillispie. And guess what? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You gave your side. Rob said Billy Gillispie should never be allowed to coach in college athletics again. The fact that Tarleton State is ignoring his history of player abuse, and as one source put it, mental warfare, is disgusting. Then they got an article. You go look up Rob Doster, Dauster. I just got his tweet. Somebody sent me the tweet. I'm going to read the article. You had your side, which was good, but it's okay. I've heard this side also.
Guess what? And I know that side, but at the same time, first of all, he's white. So let's stop acting like when white coaches get jobs. But that has something to do with it. That ain't going to change. That has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
If Billy Clyde would have been black and done half the stuff he done, he'd never be coaching again. So let's not get this stuff twisted. Second of all, this is another Texas job. His last 3 gigs have been in Texas. One thing he has ties in Texas.
He got the complexion for protection for collection. But
and the relationships, understand, Those relationships roll deep.
And I understand, but you reported that like it was a good thing, but some people don't think it's a good
No,
thing.
I'm saying a good thing. You mean he earned his way back? That's what I'm saying. If this article,
Well,
should have
Jimmy,
been out.
for what you just said, he didn't earn himself way back. He
was number one in the country.
No.
The program.
He didn't earn himself back. He was given extra chances because you just said who he is. That's not earning. That's not that wasn't meritocracy. That was just because of who you know. You just said that.
No matter what you do, there's one place that you can always go if all else fails. In most people in life, it's one word, one common word. Home. He went home to Ranger College. So that's a mulligan. Everybody has a home they can go to if they ever get in trouble.
But Jimmy, that don't mean he earned his way.
No, once he got back home, that team, that program, you understand, I know you know much about the JUCO, but Ranger.
Jimmy, I know a Ranger Junior College is right up the road.
I'm talking about the status of the facilities and the play.
It's raggedy. I know.
He's improved it. He's in flux. He's He's got some of his people, his connection. He's got donors, and they went in and revitalized that place, and they won. When you're winning, then people get amnesia. If you're winning, if you ain't winning, people gonna remember everything. It'll be like a big fat elephant. They ain't gonna forget nothing. But he was winning at Ranger for the most part. That's the thing. That's what I said about earned his way, not to get back at Ranger. From Ranger forward, it took him 5 years. He had a plug at Tarleton. If I was to dig a shovel, I'd ever find out what's the connection.
I mean,
it's easy.
It really don't matter to me. I just like to see both sides of it.
But that's the thing. So he served, in other words, he served a 5-year sentence. And, you know what I'm saying? He's on parole. He's out. He done his 5 years in the JUCO ranks.
And Herb just said, I don't know if that's reported. Herb Baker, he said he spent $1 million of his own money to refurbish the gym and the locker room. Jimmy, guess what? If he did all of that,
I don't know how much he spent. I know he spent a lot.
Hold up. Well, guess what? What his name? Salinas didn't take all his money. Salinas didn't take all his money.
Remember that he got the Texas Tech job after.
I understand, but you tried to paint a picture like he was in dire straits.
No, that hurt.
Listen to me, Jimmy. If you giving away $1 million,
understand something. If I got 10 guys that work, they each want to give $100,000 a piece, that's $1 million. If I got 8, they're gonna round it out to the highest number. It may not. If I got 8 of them want to give, that's how it goes. So that means he got people, and that's and normally a lot of them times when you get jobs nowadays,
he said his own Jimmy. I'm going by what Herb said. He didn't say donors' money. He said his own money.
Well, it goes up under his umbrella if he bring it to the table. But
that's different. They would have. Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Okay, Billy Klein. Billy Klein's your boy. It's all right.
No, one of the things that goes into when you get these jobs, a lot of jobs, if you can bring some money to the table. Remember TSU? Remember TSU had them. I'll take you back home. Where the HBCU. Okay. Remember a few years ago.
Take me back.
The AD position became vacant just 3 years ago when what's our guy name is over the SWAC now?
Clarence McClellan.
Charles McClellan. Charles.
I'm sorry.
So when Charles McClellan left TSU and took over at the SWAC, remember there was a campaign for Kevin Granger to become the athletic director. And remember what was one of the things that came and held weight? One of the things was it was a somebody, a former NBA star made a pledge
Kenny Smith.
that they would put some money up under him to donate to the program. That type of stuff has weight.
It was never reported. It was reported that Kenny Smith. All I'm saying, I don't know the semantics of it. I don't know the logistics of it. I'm just going by what Herb Baker said. And Herb usually be halfway, understand what he's saying. He just said of his own money. Own money mean my own money. Kevin Granger ain't never said that was my own money. Kenny Smith came on social media and said, "Hey man, I'm donating 25. How my boy?" So that was a great. I mean, so that's different. I'm just going by what Herb said. Herb might be wrong. Herb might be right. He said he speak to him often. That's all. Own money and other people's money is just different, Jimmy. Own money. He said own money.
White people don't hardly use their own money. Black folk, we do. Y'all don't forget, don't get tricked by this stuff.
So Drew, what color is Drew Brees? He white, right? Him and his wife just gave $5 million, more than any other athlete than gave, right? So he white, so that was somebody else's money he gave away the other day.
Al, this is a different type of call situation.
You just said white people.
This is an emergency situation. This is an emergency situation. You're comparing with something else by revitalizing.
No, but you said white people
don't. I say don't normally.
No, you said no. Okay.
They don't normally give away their own money. We do. That's what I said. So that's how it goes. We're not taught like that. Okay. We don't grow up with economics at the dinner table. We got to get it out the mud normally, and we think it's a geekish or it's just something else for us to go and be. Think about it, to be the jock and be smart. You laughed at in a lot of cities and a lot of communities. Oh, yeah. If you're the jock and you're smart.
People just don't understand and don't know. I understand it. But guess what? Guess what? These young people, I said it the other day, these young people coming up now, they got a different mindset. Got a different mindset. So, I mean, that's great. Thank you, Herb. I just threw it out there. But Jimmy, go on.
Clarence say, does Kevin Granger have money like Billy? Come on, Clarence, stop.
I hate we even went there because that's not fair, Jimmy. That's why I didn't understand that analogy, because Kevin was trying to be a AD and Billy Clyde was a.
I was mentioning just getting a job. Mm-hmm. Period. And a lot of times it's like even if you're an assistant coach and you're trying to get a job, if you can go and walk in the door with 2 players or with a star player that can move the needle, then a coach will hire you. If you're a father, some players their parents, their dad have been given a job on the staff until the NCAA had to make modifications on the rules about a decade ago to help him. Well, not a decade ago, but about 8 years ago.
I call it the Danny Manning rule.
Yeah, Danny Manning his dad was probably one of the first ones of color, because that's when they started paying attention and started keeping score. DeJuan Wagner.
Yes.
Right up. Yes. At Memphis, his dad was one. And so now when you get a job, basically either you're going to bring unless you're good, what can you bring to the table? A coach ain't hiring you as an assistant if they don't think you can get them players. You get them players, those players are good enough that then you get a pay raise. So why the hell am I gonna get you just for your glamour?
Jimmy, we got a unique question from the Fort Bend Ballers. He said, why does NAIA schools and HBCUs require 18 on the ACT test to receive or play in college versus D1 schools? Has their scores relaxed? Why? Is there a reason?
Well, I don't know the answer to that one as far as but I do know that like I know at Prairie View, their president came in, the new one, and that president made it mandatory that all students maintain a certain GPA to get in. I mean, they implied their own house rules. So if you see that happening for being ballers, then that means that particular institution has installed their own house rules when it comes to HBCUs. That's what I'm talking about right now, not the NAIAs, even though some NAIAs are HBCUs, like Houston, Tennessee, Wiley, Paul Quinn, and those guys. That's just some of those that are in Texas. But
Jimmy, I got a question for being about why. I mean, what's wrong with having higher standards?
Ain't nothing wrong with that, especially because guess what?
We
Know what's
should
happening
be
right now?
having higher standards for our kids.
It's working for Prairie View because the basketball team came in what place?
First.
First.
Yeah. But Jimmy,
see?
no, I think we should, because people used to always talking about when they raised the requirements for academics, it was trying to phase us out. Why don't we just what was one of your favorite things you used to tell me? Rob, let's eliminate the excuse. Why don't we just study a little bit more and just study? You ain't got to be brilliant, but just study a little bit harder. Go to class, because a lot of this stuff is just happening, Jimmy. Just go to class a little bit more and pay attention a little bit more. And you can get out. You remember you said, Jimmy, sometimes when you're on a borderline from a C to a B or a D to a C, it's just about the way and how you treat and act in the teacher's class that will give you that 1 or 2 points or will help you. We got to learn how, listen, we got to learn how to quit luring out. Our kids are smart. Y'all got to realize we had guys like Booker T. Washington and our ancestors that made it and was smart. And guess what? It was illegal for them to read. Illegal. You get killed or get your hands cut off if you read. So guess what? Black people are resilient and adaptable people. If you raise the standards, I think these young kids don't. Guess what? I think they gonna raise their level of awareness. I've watched it. I've watched it over the years, Jimmy. I've watched. See, what we have to do is create an environment. I told you. You remember you talking about in some cultures being a nerd was uncool. You remember didn't you just say that a minute ago? You remember the story I told you about my son who used to wear glasses and was in all AP classes, and he came to me, man, Dad, ain't none of my friends in my classes. Son, you in classes that they probably are not eligible to get in right now. And I had to explain that to him, and I told you, thank God Barack Obama came around at that time, because he wasn't hearing what I was saying. But then he saw Barack and saw him go on the campaign. I said, see, Robert, he went to Harvard. He was the editor of the Law Review. That means he was the bad man on campus. I said, and guess what? I said, look how he was. I said, it's cool to be smart. And guess what? He embraced that. Because I tried, at first he wanted to get contacts because he was wearing goggles to play. Then that gave him some confidence. Man, I keep my goggles. I ain't got to change who I am because, hey, it's all right. It's cool to be smart. So that's what I think the culture needs to change. Dude, it's all right. Guess what? Barack was the smartest man in the class. He got the baddest girl. He got the baddest position. And now he's able, guess what? Being smart, he's able to go on Martha's Vineyard and buy the biggest mansion on the vineyard that was, guess what? That was previously owned by the owner of the Boston Celtics. Grew up poor. Daddy left him. Had a mama, single mama, a childhood, had all the disadvantages, but being smart, young man, young woman. There's some smart, brilliant young people out here, Jimmy. I'm telling you. And like I told everybody, let's get used to seeing it. Look at the young man that created the grind machine right out of this community. He saw he couldn't afford the gun shooting machine that cost $5,000. So he said, it might be a lot of people like me that can't afford it. So this young man didn't have no engineering background, just went and started just tinkering and trying. And guess what? Now he got a viable product. That's why I said, don't sell our young people short, man. They just got to be put in an environment and be helped in an environment. And instead of telling them what they can't do, How about let's start telling them, Bobby Benjamin, what they can do? Kenneth Lofton, thank you. Let's start telling him what he can do. That's all. And that's all I ever told him, what he could do. So I just wanted to share that with everybody, you know, because we always worried about the grade standards. Man, let's eliminate that excuse. Let's be the smartest black kids in the world. What else you got, Jimmy?
And of course on the feed right now, you notice it just posted the NAIA eligibility requirements, and which it is a minimum of 16 on ACT. And as I hinted earlier, if somebody has an 18, that's their personal house rule for that particular school.
Okay.
Minimum, and as you guys are going, and that's a good question.
Great question.
Welcome your questions at all times.
Great
of course,
question.
Solo is back on the feed. Shout out to Solo.
What's up, Solo?
That's my son as well. Had to let him know it's cool to be smart.
Yes,
you know, now that he got his little girl looking in his eyes, he got his confidence going as well, you know?
Dude, I'm telling you, y'all, this stuff work. Hey, I'm not telling you no story. I'm telling you what I had to live through. Young man talking about, Dad, ain't nobody in my class. Okay, you can see them at practice. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Man, parenting, boy. Parenting is something else, y'all.
So I'm looking at all of the, and of course, Clarence Harris, I told my son, you're smart, so your bar is different. And if you get anything under an A, we got problems.
That's right.
I mean, and that's the understand.
That's all.
I put it like this. A couple of years back, I remember I reached out to the community and said, hey, y'all let us know which one of your kids, they're ranked and they have honor society merit. Let me know, then I can probably make a certain different category of rankings for those guys. That's what happened.
Nobody never bid on it.
Nobody never bid on it. You know,
but
and
Jimmy,
you're not,
Jimmy, faith comes by hearing and hearing the word. Jimmy, maybe we need to reintroduce it. Jimmy, you always think people get it one time. Jimmy, you don't. Jimmy, you know how you told me how I learned this system by myself. Do you think I got this thing on the first? Let me tell another story, quick story. Jimmy, you remember? I got a free trial, 14-day trial on this software, right? Guess what? I didn't learn it in 14 days. Guess what I called? I emailed the people and said, man, look here. I'm thinking about it. I need 14 more days. And then in those next 14 more days, Jimmy, I got it. I didn't get it at first. Some parents and some people ain't going to get it at first. So you got to give it to them again. That's why the Bible repeats certain things. Because people read it one time over in the Old Testament, then they've been forgot. So guess what, God? He said, okay, I'm going to put it over here in the New Testament so you can hear it again. So faith comes by hearing and hearing the word. So sometimes, and I understand because you said, man, I did that, I threw it out there. Maybe some people forgot. I remember, but some people forgot. And guess what? It's our time. Like what you said, if we got guys out there that's doing in our basketball community, that's doing astronomical things in the academic sector, Jimmy will print that and put it to ink. But guess what? His favorite word is input equal output. So he have to have your input because he don't have your son's grades. They don't allow it. Believe you me, I know about them transcripts. Hey, Jimmy, I don't know, you know, but I don't know if you know in college, when your kid go to college, you can't ask that college for nothing. That kid grown. You can't, they got some act, they got some protection act.
That's the FAFSA and the HIPAA.
Yes.
FAFSA.
Jimmy, I wasn't used to that. Hold up. When Robert got hurt,
once they turn 18, they are, and that's the whole thing. And it's like people, you ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting nothing from information from there. Now, unless a coach want to just have a relationship with you personally, and want to just slip something to you, that's it. But as far as going through the front door, oh no.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you can't do it.
Yeah. But
And
it's good. It's good.
but back to you guys understanding. If you have a student athlete,
Mhm.
and the thing is, remember I said it yesterday. I guess I'll repeat this. If you're average, if the player is average, then they better have above average grades. Right? You see? If they are above average in talent, then they can get by with average grades. Just that simple. So if you have a player, the thing is, a lot of people will wait to the end of the race. This could be a relay. You're gonna wait to lap 4, coming around the last turn, and you in 7th place. And then you want me to get the baton and go and win the race for you. Man, that's not even likely. That's the thing a lot of people do. When I'm explaining to people, even when they come to Ruck on Wood, and that's during the fall, as those incoming 9th graders and everybody's all juiced up and fired up, the 9th grade class session is always the most inspired session because they never been through it before. They get to play in this atmosphere, and those kids hadn't even got a report card yet in high school. Next grade. The next time, some kids gonna have better grades, gonna make A's, B's, whatever. Some kids are not. But those kids who are marginal, they better have great grades. That's the simple rule of thumb. How can you tell at home? Because I know a lot of you parents might already think just because they're your kid, they're great. Okay. How you can tell they're great? First of all, if that kid isn't taller than 6'1", it's a different type of bell curve for them. If that kid is 5 foot something, he better have great grades, not good grades, great grades. I don't even ask the kids anymore. You think I'm joking? I'll give you guys an exercise. You call a kid on the phone at random, one of your next door neighbors, ask them, hey, how are your grades? You know what the kid's gonna say to you? I can guarantee you that all y'all at the count of 3 can probably say the same word. Hey, little Johnny, how you doing in school this year, man? How them grades looking? What is he gonna say? 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Good. All right.
All right.
You see? Because we lead the kids and allow situations where kids think it's so easy to lie to us.
What should we ask them, Jim? Give us some keywords. What should we ask them then?
What's your GPA?
Okay.
That way you're cutting through the case. I don't want to know if your grade's good or not.
Okay.
What's your GPA?
Okay.
What did you make on the ACT or the SAT?
Okay.
See, now you're asking him, you're inviting him to give you a specific. And I'm going to tell you here's the punchline. If that young man or young lady, if they reply to you somewhere along the lines of, I can't remember.
Boy, you's a hater.
If that's their reply, you can rest assured that the grades aren't good. They just don't want to tell you. Or they hadn't even taken the test at all. Oh, that's the best one. Speaking of taking the test, hey, you took your ACT. What did you make on your ACT or the SAT? You asking that question, right? Or heard that question. Know what the reply is? Here's another one. Be ready for this one.
I'm ready.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it next month. They always gonna be signed up to take it
next month.
So then I ask them, what school you gonna take it at? Well, I can't remember. You see, because often kids are so used, or a lot of them are led to believe that all they got to do is just tell us this, and we're gonna go, and we're gonna run with it.
Them kids ain't like that.
Man, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And the thing is, we making it somehow, I guess, these young people are led to believe that if they don't have good grades, that the world is coming to an end. So, and that's crazy. but and they don't, I mean, a lot of them really believe that. That's why that's why some of them may be so shy or so protective at just being truthful with you. Because they know what a lot of them, trust me, a lot of them know. You see them hanging out. You see them going on social media, dance, doing all at different places, Top Golf every weekend. And then you look at what's your grades like. Well, so you can see it coming along a long way. That's why when they say all hands on deck, that's truthful for a lot of the kids out there. A lot of kids have habits that are built in that are inspired when they were very young. And those habits have morphed into an everyday occurrence, a part of their being. So some kids know when it's time to study and the effect of studying and what that means to go and do a little reading or read a chapter ahead. Some kids know that. A lot of them don't. You go tell one of your kids, go read. You read doing your homework? Yeah, I already read that chapter. Okay, well, go read the next chapter. Know what they're gonna say to you? For what? It's true though.
No, I love it, man. You ain't gonna. I'm not gonna let you bash my kids out here.
That's a lot of reading. We gotta read out that.
Hey, I need to start when this Corona or when we get rid of this Rona. I need to follow you. I want to watch. I want to hear some of these kids telling. I want to tell you that, and I'm gonna pull them aside.
Huh? When the gyms open back up, we're gonna go and pick three kids out at random.
Okay.
And I'm willing to bet you, but I ain't gotta bet you. You already know it's gonna be funny. I want you to sit there and just watch the responses, how I catch the kids off guard.
No, they ain't.
And I'm gonna ask them at random.
They gonna recite to you, I got so-and-so GPA, I'm doing this, I took the ACT, and now I'm gonna take the SAT. That's how they gonna respond to you, Jimmy. That's how they gonna respond to you.
That's the one I'm looking for. Hey, guess what? The kid do that, he gonna jump up 10 points in the rankings already just by saying that. And it's just that we make this stuff seem like it's harder than what it is. And I put it like this: as long as these kids are out of school now, this is the perfect time, and they're confined to the house. This is the perfect time to create a new habit. It's the perfect time.
Yes, that's good.
Dude, do you realize in Fort Worth, Texas, they are out right now dismantling every basketball rim that's on the grounds of the Parks and Rec in that city. They're taking the goals off the rims. So for them to take those goals down, know what that means? That means they ain't put them things up tomorrow. That means this thing going through the end of April for real. It's going to take 2 weeks to take all them goals down. Well, not a week. They got a bunch of crews out there. Think about it. They're taking the goals down. You know what? Let me tell you, they did the park, at my park. They put the yellow caution tape around the swings and the monkey bars with a sign, letting you know to stay off of them. So they got the yellow caution tape. So we go over to the basketball court. They put the yellow tape, in the park, they have the two goals. They have the goals, this whole court on the slab, but they got the two poles like that. And the goals, each rim is supported by these two steel poles. So they put the tape from one pole wrapping around one pole to the next. So that caution tape is meant to let the kids know, don't play basketball on the court. Them kids ain't studying about that tape. I walk the next morning, I get up and guess what happened? Guess what that tape is? Slung all over in the park around. So if you don't want them to play, that's what you would have to do. Now, I saw on social media, some cities put a piece of wood or a piece of over the goal. Instead of taking the whole goal down, just put a piece of wood up there. So, you shoot it, ain't gonna go in the goal. But that's what's happening right now. These kids are in the house. It's the perfect time to help create a new habit. There should be, if your kid has a deficiency in reading, just give them a book that got bigger words in it. bigger font. That's what they call it now. We just call it big words back then, but they call it bigger. I mean, seriously. They have books in Walmart. You can go in Walmart.
Yeah.
You can't go in Barnes. No, Walmart has a bookshop.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, get them something to. That's the thing. You got to find a way to create a new habit. Like right now, if you don't, and they can't get it done now, when will they get it done?
And Jimmy, my thing is, I just want them kids to understand it's cool to be smart. It's cool to be savvy, you know, so they can stop the culture vultures from coming in. If you're smart and you're cool, you'll be able to stop the people. We always talk about culture vultures, people who come in and rape our culture and get our natural resources and take them out of our things. Steve, think about Steve Ballmer. The owner, y'all didn't even know who he was. A lot of people didn't know who he was, but he just happened to be next to Bill Gates at the right time. Everybody knew about Bill Gates. Everybody didn't nobody know about Steve Ballmer. Didn't nobody know about Paul Allen. Bill Gates took out. Then I think about Robert Johnson, the Robert Johnson who started BET. Coach Jimmy, we talk about these kids ain't smart. With a $15,000 loan. They just understand how this thing works. When you become smarter, kids, your vernacular becomes, it changes. Shaquille O'Neal owns a small percentage of the Kings. Venus and Serena owns a small percentage of the Dolphins. Michael Jordan owns the Hornets. See, when you own stuff, you're allowed to have your own opinion, Jimmy. Ain't nobody gonna come in here and tell you how to run RCS Sports. Nobody. And see, and I'm watching these kids. They understanding. Some of these kids now are understanding the sneaker business, Jimmy. Culturally, we are in the sneakers. Let's take it to another level. If that's what you're going to be doing instead of spending your money, be on the other side. Foot Locker just invested a while back $150 million into this app called GOAT, G-O-A-T. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Jimmy. It's a secondary marketing tool for sneakers. And it's close to now a $2 billion industry. Jimmy, did you hear what I said? So if you have some pairs of Dove Kicks, kids, tell this to your kids, mamas and daddies. Put them on StockX. They was putting on StockX. Put them on GOAT. You can get paid for your sneakers. Sell them. You can make 3 times more than you paid for them, young fellas. Because people love the culture of sports. 7 years ago, Jimmy, 8 years ago, they used to play heavy metal music on the break of NBA games. On ESPN, heavy metal. Now they're playing hip hop in the breaks. Even what's your boy, Skip Bayless and them got hip hop. Go back, Jimmy. So we creatures of the moment. We got to go back. Hip hop has become like pop music to everybody now. Young people, if we understand the strength of our culture, and let's take advantage of it, and in other words, quit letting these other people take advantage of our culture. But it comes with, Jimmy, you got to do your research, and you got to do your due diligence. Jimmy, what you said, and you got to read. I know for a fact, Jimmy, I deal with them. Athletes are getting smarter. Look at the TV rights deal that's happening now in sports. It's a double-digit billion-dollar industry. That's why the revenue sharing is so important. You know how we talking about the players might not get their checks? Jimmy, you got to realize now. Guess what the owner say? You want to share in the revenues? When you're sharing the revenues, Jimmy, in a partnership, you also have to share in the what? The losses. Let me repeat that, Coach. I think that went over your head now. In business, if you're sharing in the revenues, you got to share in the losses too. So I think our athletes and our kids are getting smarter. Jimmy, and maybe because I see a lot of them that are smarter and talk to them, they're making more money right now than they ever made. You got marginal guys, Jimmy. Think about this. Guys who was scoring in 2016, we was talking about this. Guys who were scoring 11 points a game were signing 4-year, $70 million. Alan Crabb, he done got cut. You ain't never heard him no more.
He got a bag, though.
He got a bag at the right time. But guess who thought that was, Jimmy? And that's a whole nother show. Jimmy, the players, they wanted the spike. The owners wanted to smooth it out. They didn't want no big spike. They just rather it be a constant rise. The players said, whenever we get that money, spike it. But guess what? That money ain't spiked no more. And that's why a lot of people getting bought out of them contracts. 2016 is 2020. Those contracts are up now. Them guys got that money. So guess what, Jimmy? So after taxes, a guy like him make $35 million of scrub. Excuse me. An NBA player, journeyman. I shouldn't have called him scrub. I'm sorry. What they're doing after taxes, that's $35 million. And what they're doing with that money can create a long, sustainable wealth for generations, Jimmy. But what you said a minute ago, I love it. You used my word. You said, but your habits are not conducive to doing that. We just got to get better habits, y'all. Better habits. That's all. What else we got, Jimbo? I know you're checking the feed out.
And of course, we want to give you guys, we open up the phone lines back up for you guys if you need it. Want to get your thoughts in. 832-264-1500. 832-264-1500.
Let me put it up there.
We only can take a couple of calls as we're getting ready to land the plane within about 10 minutes. So we want to get your thoughts in. Make sure you're doing. Shout out to Bebe up in there from Homestead. I see you up in there. And then Marcus Sloan is joined. Chuck McCowan. And
Jim, I just love how you.
Once again, guys, if you a lot of you guys in the grassroots community, from I got the word. Part of my intel is that there's a high probability that the July live period could be scrapped as well from the NCAA. If so, this will be a prime span, a prime time window for all of you high school coaches out there to gain momentum or gain lost ground in the I guess the joust or in retaining some of the control of some of your players, meaning in their recruitment, so to speak. Because
the high school coaches you're talking about, right?
The high school coaches.
Okay.
Because if there's no live grassroots events, if there's no live grassroots events, then the power, it goes back to the yesteryear where those colleges are going to have to see those kids. They may get one window in September. But the rest of and those in September, high schools may be playing together.
So you forecasting no more live events for the rest of the year?
There's a grand possibility, based on some intel that I got this morning, that because here's the thing, when you're planning that stuff, you have to get venues in advance. You have to go in. It's a lot of things that go in advance economically to go and reserve that stuff. They're not talking about the independent event. Some of you guys, I mean, we can go call MI3 or the gym and book it like we talking about the sneaker companies is what float this stuff. Don't get in the college coaches. They're not. Let me share something with you guys. The college coaches collectively, they are not mad that they can't come out at all in April as long as you're giving them extra scholarships. They want scholarships, the coaches.
They want extra scholarship.
Yeah. They ain't got to come out in April. A lot of them, because here's what a lot of them are thinking. And that's why I understand now, some people need to be out, talking about big fish eating little fish. A lot of them don't need to be out because they know everybody has it down to about 10 players, maybe 7 that they really. So if I can't see them, you can't either. So you can't see them. That means they come down to one live period, and we got to shoot our best shot. So that means that's how they. You see, some people are thinking like that.
So the coaches can hold on to their teams and have their teams do this like we did. Like, did Texas buy in this time? Because they didn't buy in last year.
That's the whole thing. That was in June. That event you talking about was in June.
Yeah, but
there's a chance that won't take place either.
So what we got at the end? Nothing.
Remember, see, back in the days, Adam, there used to be a time when the fall used to be live. There used to be a time when the spring icebreaker used to be live. Mm-hmm. So girls' events were live until I think last fall, in September. So there may be September. NCAA, trust me, we'll know in April the 15th. They had to get this other stuff out the way that just released yesterday. That was the first order of business, to be able to let these people know whether they have the opportunity to get a year back or not. These seniors for the spring sports, and so that the winter sports seniors will know if they got action or it ain't no action at all.
So when is coming up today?
Huh?
When is this coming up today?
No, they ruled on that yesterday.
Okay.
The spring, that part there.
Okay.
The spring sports are extended. The seniors will get another year. And as you mentioned at the top of the show, and I said that I would explain to you guys about that financial aid.
Okay.
That's the catch. A lot of the seniors will get that extra year of eligibility, but they might have to pay their own way if the money ain't there.
But I thought they was going to make special provisions for the money.
They got a fund, but then what if the fund it ain't enough there for you? So, I mean, everybody has their own house rule. You might have to say to you might get 80% aid. To me, I might only get 40% aid. You see, it depends on my value to you, Jimmy, as the coach.
Jimmy, me knowing it's a higher power is God up there. Jimmy, something got to come out of this. It's just too much chaos. Out of chaos comes triumph. And I'm just trying to figure out something great got to come out of this, y'all. And I want this what I just said, I want this archive. Something great. I'm just seeing all of this chaos. I'm seeing all of this stuff that's going on. Something great has got to come out of this. Throughout history, every time you have to go through the wilderness, then it's the promised land is somewhere. Something has got to, dude, it's some lives being turned up. Thank God we got people, you and I, we got people on this Facebook feed. It's just, we having people die around us. Yes, we do. But man, it's some crazy economical stuff that's happening, man. Jimmy, think about it. A billionaire, Timothy Fertitta, is in trouble right now. Mickey Harrison. This coronavirus is no respecter of persons. Jimmy, it don't care who it gets. We got famous opera singers over in Italy They outside on their balcony. They got a piano player, might be on that balcony. They right next to the Sagrada La Familia, one of the wonders of the world. They playing on their balconies, Jimmy. She's singing, he's singing, he playing. It's affecting all kind of walks of life. People in the arts, they can't show their arts. Tom Brady hasn't been able to go to visit Tampa Bay yet. Jimmy, Cam Newton, he got an injury problem. People, somebody said something, and they wrong for this, Jimmy. And it's going to be right up your alley. He said, what most teams waiting on, if Cam Newton go to the barber and cut that dang hair off, 10 teams might call it. I said, that's Jimmy. That's Jimmy talking right there. But hey, y'all, keep your head up, because something great going to happen for all of y'all. Something great going to happen. Remember, I told you about our kids who graduating this year. And these the kids that were born during the 9/11 saga in the backdrop, around in that time. They was born in that, and now this pandemic stopped them from having their graduation, man. Like I keep saying, I'm gonna keep speaking this. Something great gonna happen. It's got to, Jimmy. This stuff is unbelievable. Herb Baker, Chad. I mean, something great got to happen, man. What you got, Jimmy? What you got?
Speaking of something great, guys, shortly, if you live in the state of Texas, leave you guys with this couple of things. The governor is about to have a press conference in about 3 minutes with some updates on the battle against the COVID-19. And at 3 o'clock, so after the governor is going to go at 2, then the mayor of Houston, along with the county judge, will go at 3 o'clock with a local presser with detailing some new intel for the greater Houston, Harris County, put it like that. They will give you some details, Harris County. So make sure you go. They have a YouTube channel. You can watch it on probably one of your local news affiliates, and you can get that. So make sure, if you live in the state of Texas, check it out. Make sure you guys also be smart out there, or be smarter than you were yesterday in regards to this COVID-19 and the understanding of the whole premise about the supply and demand of the hospital beds and the medical attention that you can get. We want to go and dedicate today's show over to David Dennis. David Dennis was admitted to the hospital late last night with complications. I'm not sure if not sure if it's related to COVID-19 or not, but he's having cardio problems. So shout out, we want to give you a speedy recovery as well. And also, if you missed it, our hearts and prayers go out to Butch Pierre, former LSU, former Oklahoma State, former North Carolina State assistant coach, who's now head coach at a JUCO in Florida. His mom and dad both tested positive last week, and his mom has passed away as a result of the COVID-19 down in Louisiana, South Louisiana. So, which is tough times and tough places. Guys, understand, these people aren't playing. If you're taking your butt into Louisiana and you mess around and get stuck over there, or you get and people, they are going to make an example out of somebody by checking your residence or where you say you're going. Trust me, somebody's gonna get made an example out of it. It's kind of like the voter registration stuff. Somebody, a lot of people may do different things, but they're gonna make an example out of somebody. You can be rest assured, because they have to keep the fear planted. And so I want to make sure that lastly, Michael Jordan had ESPN has heard the cries and pleas, and they are moving The Last Dance from June to April the 19th. That's going to be a 10-part series. Well, the Michael Jordan documentary stemming from that last championship season of 1997 to 98. This is supposed to be pretty good. They've been promoting this thing for quite some time, and this is going to be well needed in a couple of weeks. So that's April the 17th April the 7th, the 19th, that is. Yeah. Will be part 1, and part 2, they both will come on the same night back to back. How about that? You're getting part 1 at 8 o'clock, part 2 at 9 o'clock. So that's good. And
let me explain something unique. I am so glad you brought that up. Jimmy, about a week and a half ago, I want y'all to hear this. I want y'all, wait a minute, did I put it here? I want y'all to take a look at something. Oh, I got it up here. Check this out. This happened last week on a Instagram call between Richard Jefferson, LeBron James. Check this out.
ESPN, I know I don't want to get fired, but release that shit. Release that.
ESPN can't fire you, RJ. You my friend.
Did you see how much conviction that LeBron said that? Jimmy, this was a couple weeks ago. What he said? He said, man, they can't fire you, man. You my friend. And look what happened. They released thing earlier. Because that Michael Jordan's this special was set to release in June, right before the NBA playoffs, Jimmy. So Richard Jefferson and LeBron them, they were talking about, man, they need to release it now. Ain't nothing going on. They need to release it now. So Richard Jefferson said, hey, I might get fired. Release that SHIT. I'm talking stuff, right? He said, I know I might get fired. LeBron looked in that camera, and y'all saw him. Said, man, ESPN can't fire you. You my friend. Y'all didn't see. Y'all listen to it again. Look at the conviction.
ESPN, I know I don't want to get fired, but release that shit. Release that.
ESPN can't fire you, RJ. You my friend.
He didn't smile about that. LeBron didn't care about that. LeBron saying, look, he's showing y'all how much pop. Who says that? Y'all might think that wasn't even subliminal. ESPN, I am the league.
Now I'm glad you finally came around.
Yes,
I'm glad the egg done hatched for you. I'm glad you finally understand. I told you,
Jim. What you don't know, I've been knowing. That Rich Paul stuff, that'd have been anybody else. It would have got, because LeBron gave him the seed money to start it. It's a conflict of interest. All the agents were harping on it. No, man, no. Hey, Jimmy, you got to realize, I'm going to show you how cold it is. You talking about the lightning came on. David Stern strongly said it. Y'all won't. David Stern, bless his heart, he passed away. He said years ago, he will never let nobody win the NBA championship and win the MVP of the season. We're going to make sure it don't happen again, because Michael Jordan became too powerful. Y'all got to realize, Michael Jordan is the only player in the NBA that has his own licensing package with the NBA. Every other player go in a pool. LeBron, everybody else in a pool. Jim Hicks, Michael Jordan, separate. Because he got what he told the NBA. Well, look here. Well, don't sell none of my gear. Don't sell none of my likeness. I'm going to sell my own. No. Can't sell none. Guess what? They bought into it. So David Stern said he's too powerful. He's the MVP of the playoffs. Notice, and guess where it came to head? When Stephen Curry in the playoffs, when he won, was unanimous MVP. Jimmy, will you explain to him who was the MVP that year?
In what year?
He won the MVP of the regular season, unanimous. Went to the playoffs, won the championship, but Andre Iguodala
he won the Finals MVP. Yeah,
won the finals. That's what I'm talking about. The finals, and you're too powerful when you do that. So it's you. But guess what? LeBron. They let LeBron. Let me tell you something. LeBron James. Jimmy, I've been known. He's the key. I've been known. But he showed y'all in America and looked and said, man, dated, and then smile. ESPN can't fire you. You my friend. Hey, man, you're bad, man. I know we got 2 minutes left. Hey, Jimmy, I sure wish that he was one of my friends. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable, Doc. The power that guy had.
Well, I can tell you one thing, though. Mm-hmm. ESPN can fire his ass. You best believe that. And that's a publicly traded company, which is owned by by Disney. Okay. So that it ain't the same dynamic.
Jimmy, the cash cow. Jimmy, ESPN paid too much money to the NBA to air their games. And who is the NBA cash cow? What y'all don't realize, and I told y'all, sometimes it just go over your head. It was 11 games this season was the highest rated 11 games of the season other than the Christmas games. 11 games were ranked up higher. Each one of them games had the Lakers on it and LeBron James. The highest rated, that's power, man. And he know he got it. Richard Jefferson's going to have a job. But it's unbelievable, man. I just thank you, Jimmy. We can end the show. I mean, I'm glad you brought it up because I had that queued up, but I just didn't play it. And probably got some more stuff we'll just queue up tomorrow. And but yeah, that's awesome. So Jimmy, I want to play this one more time before we get out of here, though. I want.
Above all sports hoops is where the action's at. Houston Classic Summer Prep Show, June.
Hey, we're back. Jimmy, go lock this
guys,
thing
and of
down,
course,
baby.
it's time to slide down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing. One, thanks to everybody who chimed into the Chop Shop. See my man James Wilhelm from over in Carolina.
What's up, Coach?
Who joined us, one of the college coaches. I remember him from way back in the days. Man, time has flown indeed. Shout out to Stephen Hayes, who just joined us. Stacey Houston up there in DFW, checking us out on the Chop Shop. My man Clinton Pre-Year Jr. has joined us on there. Rod Wells is light and got season opener information tomorrow. You don't forget that. Absolutely. Indeed.
You got season opener information?
On April the 1st, we will release the field of teams for the season opener.
Already?
Yes, you got to push. Michael Jordan coming in April. He was coming in June. You got to push stuff up. Give people something to do. And also on tomorrow, college coaches, you guys will be receiving your cheat sheet booklets in the mail tomorrow.
Send me
so
one,
college coaches, the spring cheat sheet booklet will be released on tomorrow. But tonight, don't forget, the Guy V. Lewis Award winner will be announced 7 p.m. tonight. And there's a link.
You know what I hate about you? You
What's
know
that?
who it is. And you ain't said nothing to none of us, man. No. Let's low
I
down,
know,
man.
I know the votes. You know what we did today?
I'm not going to give you no blue chip hat now.
The only two people of color on the committee was on the Chop Shop today. Chris Gardner and myself. The rest of those guys.
Y'all see how he do us, man.
Hey, man. Hey, this thing is, I wish.
This is a good one, though.
It's probably going to be good, though. I mean, it's virtual. Everybody can get to watch. But remember, only 300 people will be able to view this thing.
No, Jimmy, just on Zoom. On the other platforms, that's why he said the other platforms, he's going to try to do it on the website and other platforms. That's why we going to count on you to keep us updated with this stuff, man. On the Chop Shop, y'all keep checking back with the Chop Shop. Oh, I supposed to cock my head. I forgot, Jim. I supposed to cock.
There you go.
Okay.
What I want to try to do before we get up out of here, and the feed is still live, I'm going to try to post the link, the Zoom link for y'all.
Okay.
So as a treat for hanging with us, I'm going to give you guys the actual Zoom link, right? Here's to watch the guy. I'm typing it right now. And this for the Guy V. Lewis Award at 7 p.m. via Zoom. And you'll be able to watch it. Here's the link. Bingo. There you go.
There you go.
And,
bingo.
Yeah. And we'll take that.
What time? Hey, you know people gonna be waiting like they wait on the Chop. Who gonna be the starting five?
Hey, white folks running that thing, so you know it's gonna be on time. I'm telling y'all, don't play with it. You out here, y'all. I'm not doing. I'm just watching like you guys are watching. I'm telling you. So you can plus mess around if you want to, and come zooming up in there 15 minutes past the hour. You better get in there early. And for some of you who do get in there, why don't you create a watch party on your social media?
Why don't you do that? Because everybody got your stuff.
I'm going to be in the thing already watching it. Once I see how it go, I probably can do it. I probably can do it. But did you get the link on there?
Yeah, it's on there.
Did y'all get it?
It's on
I want to post. Make sure you.
I'm trying to download it right now so I don't have to be bothered with you no more.
I don't even see it. But anyway, guys, as I go and search and try to lock it in, did we post it on there, Heather? That many people?
It posted. I saw it. Yeah. You didn't pin it though.
I figure I can't get it.
Wait a minute. It done disappeared. Jimmy, what the hell you doing?
That's what I'm saying. I don't see it.
Yeah, it disappeared. I had already downloaded it. I'm fast. I downloaded it already. And now it's disappeared. That's unbelievable.
Man,
just keep us
I got no, because if we get off the show, then it won't be live.
Hey, Stacy said his hat been in the box. It has, Stacy. I ain't touched this hat in a long time, man. Guess what? But people been talking about put it on eBay. I said, oh no, ain't nobody messing with this hat. I'm blue chip. Hey y'all, and check the. I'm gonna post some more stuff on Chop Shop stuff tonight. How y'all like that, Jimmy? You like the video I did for you? You was telling them folks about how to get in them rooms, but how to gas up.
That's some real talk.
Hey, so whenever summer basketball ever start again next year, whenever, you know what I hate? Thank you, Stacey. I'm gonna get you one, man. I'm gonna get you and Jimmy a better hat. I kind of messed mine up a little bit. It's been in storage. You know, I put stuff like this in storage, in safe deposit boxes and stuff, man. Todd Holmes was asking me about Todd Holmes. I got a original putter that Payne Stewart used to use when Scotty Cameron, before he was with Titleist, he used to just be he made putters for just the tour pros. and it's called a Cameron instead of a Scotty Cameron. And that's a collector's item I have. And guess what? It puts so good, but I hate to take it out and play with it because I don't want nobody to, you know, try to knock it off my bag every now and then. So get that thing out my bag. So, but yeah. He talking about me. I got the box hairdo back then. Yeah, Jim. Hey man, I was trying to be like Kid and Play. Okay, Jimmy, you put it back in there. Okay.
There we go. Now,
Okay.
So sorry guys for the delay. I got you guys plugged in. So for those of you who hung in there with us, you have your own pass to get into the I guess the ceremony tonight. All you do is download Zoom app. I've never done it before. This will be my first time, so
Mine
I guess that's the info. All you need to get in there, but they only for the first 300 attendees or viewers will be able to get in at a time. Otherwise, you'll be locked out.
No, but Jimmy, you can go. Chris said you can go to the Guy B. Lewis website and can watch it there, and they're gonna try to figure out other streams, but they don't know how it's going to work yet. But if you're not on the Zoom, don't threat. Keep looking. Guy B. Lewis website. Try to go to that. See, see, there's a difference between hearing and listening.
Well, I know it ain't gonna be on the Guy B. Lewis website. They're not gonna update that thing today.
But they said it's special. They're gonna do it. It's special today, Jimmy. It's a one-shot deal. I mean, that's what Chris said.
I understand that, but at the same time, I was just on that website this morning. They still was advertising on the front about the live ceremony being at the Alumni Center.
Oh,
so
okay.
They hadn't even updated that part on there yet.
So you better be one of the 300 then. That's what you're trying to tell us.
That's what you better be. And that's for certain. And of course, Stacey Houston say he saw you with that box haircut looking like Teddy Riley.
Hey, I got more, y'all. Hey, don't be laughing at me, man. I got
Whoa,
more.
Jam. Teddy, Jam.
No. Somebody last night told me I look like Eddie Murphy. I said, no, come on now. Eddie, no, zero. But yeah, Jimmy, never do this thing, man.
We got to get up out of here, man. So you guys, man, be safe, be smart. And that rumor from yesterday, we have found out it was a false rumor, a hoax about liquor stores closing. So letting you guys know.
Why you worry about the liquor store all the time?
People like Freight ran their butt over to Total Wine and tried to buy up all the stuff on the. I mean, that's what happened. And then whoever started that rumor, job well done, because they got a spike in sales of liquor around.
Oh, you love that liquor.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I thought you said you were stocked up.
Yeah, but I need some more white, some more clear.
Why you been drinking, man? Why you been drinking like that?
I ain't drinking like that.
Okay, it's something. I'll call you when I get off the phone. It's something.
I ain't been drinking a lot.
Why you need some more white? You been taking white with you in other places and just pouring it?
No, clear. That's what Sandra, she drinks the clear.
Oh, okay.
Need more clear. I ain't been drinking a lot.
Okay. Yeah, you got to make sure you go. Yeah, you got.
I'm still taking dentist medicine, so I ain't been drinking a lot at all.
But Jimmy, I would have walked out the room, man. Prayers go up for David Dennis, man. Is he able to answer the phone, Jimmy?
I don't want to bother him because he got his heart and stuff. He got all types. He's waiting on tests to come back.
Okay.
So maybe tomorrow, of course, and he may be able to.
Okay. All right.
Maybe
Prayers
talk
with him, man.
Yeah, but I didn't want to bug him today. But anyway,
okay.
Let's get on down there, man. Get up out of here.
I'm out, y'all.
Great time, guys. Great show today. Make sure you share the show with your family and with your timelines and your friends, and make sure you share the word about the Chop Shop. Make sure we're on all social media platforms. You guys is on the YouTube channel. Like our YouTube page. Also, if you got any questions, put in our mailbag. Women Rock Wednesdays tomorrow. We might have a special treat for you guys in the form of some professional intel regarding COVID-19, possibly. So stay tuned for that, and we'll talk a lot more of amateur hoops. Anyway, on behalf of Robert Hatter, this is Jim Hicks. It's time to slide down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing. See you guys 22 hours. Peace.
Out.
Jim Hicks. Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop.